Welcome everybody to the Curran and
Shayna Show.
I'm your host Curran.
And I'm Shayna.
And we're going to be talking to you about solar energy tonight. Isn't that an exciting topic, Shayna?
Yes, very. We'll be talking about passive versus active solar heating and heating system, photovoltaic. Say it with me. Photovoltaic.
Yes.
CSTs, benefits and drawbacks of solar energy, and the case study of the Academy of Sciences.
So our first topic will be passive versus active.
So passive does not need the use of technology, and active does.
So Shayna, that's the way I kind of like to think about it is when you're passive, you're kind of like a calm ocean. You're not really doing anything. You're just absorbing. So the solar energy is being captured directly in passive. Yeah, from the sun. Look, here's the sun. And it's the sea is, absorbing the sun's energy. One example of being passive is what, Shayna?
Solar ovens, or having a house built of the solar passive design.
So solar ovens.
Okay. So cinder block works best. Let me go get my cinder block box and try that out. I know, I love mine.
And what?
The passive solar design.
Passive solar design. Why don't you explain passive solar design for us, Shayna?
Passive solar design is a technique that takes advantage of solar radiation to maintain a comfortable temperature. It stabilizes indoor temperatures in the winter.
So basically, when you're using passive solar design, here's our house. Isn't that a beautiful house, Shayna?
Yes, very.
And it's going to use wide open windows, right? What else,
Yes.
Shayna?
And in the winter, it has to be faced towards the south, because that's where.
Towards the south.
So it won't have.
Let's pretend this is the south direction. Ooh, I need a different color chalk.
I always make it full screen.
Okay. And what else, Shayna?
There are solar collectors, like at the top of the house.
Solar collectors. What exactly is a solar collector?
It collects the solar energy.
Okay, well that's the basic vocabulary. But to go into more depth, what a solar collector does, let's make a bigger house to show you. So, our solar collector is going to be on top of the roof.
Yes.
This is our solar collector. And here's our sun over here. That's a happy looking sun. And it's going to be capturing the sun's energy, right? And this would be an example of an active system, because it's, this is technology. It's not just natural, like a solar oven is. So that's the solar collector, right? And what happens is there are all these wires running through the solar collector. The pink is going to represent heat, and the blue is going to represent coldness. And they're connected, right?
Yes.
So in this solar collector, heat and coldness are circulating through that collector. Cold energy is traveling upwards it's traveling upwards, right? And it's going through the circulator. It's circulating through the collector. And the sun's rays are heating what's in the circulator, the collector, right? This air is going to be heated. And what's being heated travels down here. And it's traveling downwards. So it goes from up, cold, to down, warm. And then eventually what happens is what's warmed is going to heat all the water that's in here. Right? So this becomes a little warm water. And then a pipe is connected to this and is, the water is brought all over your house. It travels. So that's how water is heated. This is an example of a solar domestic hot water system. And a solar domestic hot water system is what, Shayna? Is an example of
active energy.
Good job. The next example, Shayna.
Is it one?
Yeah. The next example, Shayna, of an active solar heating is going to be photovoltaic solar cells. Photovoltaic solar cells. Photo is Latin for light. Voltaic is Latin for turn. So photovoltaic solar cells. And again, these are going to be active because it's technology. And technology is built by humans, and whatever humans build is active, as opposed to passive, which is not human built. So this is going to be a solar panel. And this panel is not absorbing heat. Rather, it's absorbing light. The first example was absorbing heat. This is absorbing light. The photovoltaic. Photo means light. So heat, light. So it's going to be traveling to the DC box, which is then taken to the breaker box. So conversion is happening, right? Yeah, and that supplies electricity to the house, right, Shayna?
Yes.
Sometimes it can be connected, the house can be connected to a grid. This is our grid right here. That's our grid. And if it's connected to a grid, electricity is only used from the grid when there's not enough solar energy. They're off the grid, and that happens sometimes. They might rely on photovoltaic solar cells as their only source of energy. It's possible. Sometimes there are batteries connected to the solar panels, so it's backup. Whatever is not used during the day can be used at night as backup. So again, this is the photovoltaic solar cell, and that is an example of an active system.